Welcome back to the Golfalot YouTube channel. Georgina here, and today we are at the Duke's Golf Course up in St Andrews, and I'm really excited to be testing out the Caley 01 irons. Now these irons are really interesting because they're direct to consumer. They only cost £449 for an entire set, from a pitching wedge to a 4-iron. As you can see, it's a little bit chilly out here, but the course is looking in beautiful conditions. We're going to do a 4-hole challenge with just irons in the bag. We're going to see how I get on, see if I can shoot level par, and let you guys know my thoughts on the Caley irons. If you haven't already, please make sure that you're subscribed to the Golfalot YouTube channel and that you've hit that notification bell to see videos from us first. And if you like what you see in this video, please make sure to drop us a like as well. So we're starting on the 12th hole. It's a lovely little par 3 at 153 yards. Now normally with my own irons, I would be playing a 7-iron, so we're going to go straight in with the Caley 7-iron and see how we get on. So first shot sounded nice, felt nice. It's a little bit short, so we'll see how we get on with the rest of the clubs. So 1 hole down, 3 to go, but before we get onto it, let's talk a little bit about the Caley irons and where they actually come from. Caley brand was founded by Ryan Ather, who was a PGA professional. He just felt that there wasn't the opportunity for people to buy quality golf clubs at a reasonable price. He thought that the overall buying process was too complicated and that decent golf clubs just cost far too much money. So he did lots of research and came up with the Caley golf clubs. Caley is a Scottish brand, so what better place to test these out than the home of golf in St Andrews. So let's get on to the second hole. We've got a 338-yard par 4. You can see the town of St Andrews in the distance. So we're just going to try and knock a 4-iron down. As you can see, there's a couple bunkers we're going to try and miss, so we'll see how we get on. Okay, so we've got 142 yards left. It's all downhill, so even though it's a little bit cold, I'm still going to go in with a 9-iron and see if we can get this up to the flag. So we've just come up slightly short, so I'm just going to try and bump a pitching wedge up here. Now it's going to be interesting to see with the pitching wedge in this set if we've still got the nice feel and control there without the usual technology that we see in a lot of other wedges. Doesn't seem to be a lot of spin there. It came off quite quick and there wasn't so much control, but we'll maybe test it out on some of the other holes and see if we can find a bit more feel with it. So there are a few different models that you can go for with the Caley irons. The one that I have is the 01 model, which is basically designed for mid to higher handicappers, focusing on giving you a bit more distance and forgiveness. Now what that does mean, however, is that the club is a little bit thicker when you look at it at address, as we would maybe expect from those mid to high handicap range clubs. For me, personal preference, that's not what I like to see with my irons. I like them to be a little bit thinner, but in terms of the target audience and who these clubs are aimed at, I don't necessarily think that that would be a problem for most golfers looking to get these irons. You're also getting a lambkin grip and a KBS Tour light shaft, which is a nice premium finish for these golf clubs. So it's a 315-yard par 4. Now I didn't love the feel of the 4-iron, so I'm going to go in with a 5-iron here off the tee and just see if that feels a little bit better. A lot better than the 4-iron. So really impressed with that 5-iron off the tee. Unfortunately, I'm still quite far away from the hole. It's 156 yards, but it's uphill and it's cold. So we're going to go in with another 5-iron. Hopefully I can just hit the same shot that I hit off the tee. Okay, so not quite the same shot that we hit off the tee. Let's see if we can save it with what will need to be a very good up and down. So So clearly not my best shot with the second shot there. However, it's not awful, we're still in play. We've got 52 yards, so I'm going to see if we can get close with the pitching wedge. If that stopped up, it might be okay. I have a feeling it's gone a little bit long, but let's head up there and find out. The shame about that putt there, it was so close to saving par. 2 good shots and 1 not quite so good shot. So I'd say we probably just about deserved the bogey there, but we've got 1 hole left, so let's see what we can do. So final hole, it's 128 yards. I'm gonna go in with the 9-iron. Now, I actually really like the feel of these clubs when you get a good strike going, so I'm feeling pretty confident stood over this shot that we might be able to get this one close. So we're pin high, that was a great strike. There's a chance of birdie and to get back to 1 over. I thought that one was going to miss as well. Finished with a birdie, which means we're back to 1 over. Let's go and get into the verdict. As always, whenever we do a verdict, we look at 4 main categories. So that's looks, feel, performance, and value for money. Starting off with the looks of these clubs, as I said earlier, they were a little bit thicker than I would prefer to see. However, these irons were for mid to high handicap. So really that thickness is exactly what someone like that would be looking for. So I wouldn't say that that was a huge negative point. That's just my personal preference. Overall, the design of them was very clean, very simple, which I really liked. I guess you could say they almost looked like a thicker version of the P790s. Going on to feel, I actually really liked the feel overall of these clubs. When you got a good strike going, it was a really nice feel off the face. The only thing that I struggled with was the longer irons, and I definitely felt this the other night when we went down to the range to test these irons out a bit more, in that with the longer ones, although the strike wasn't coming off as thinned, it felt as though I'd thinned it off the face even when it was a nice strike. And I just found that a little bit confusing. And it meant that today when we were out on the course and I had the 4-iron in my hand, I just wasn't feeling that confident with it. With that said, the 5-iron and the rest of the clubs I really liked, and I thought the feel was really nice. So going on to performance, as I mentioned earlier, we did take these irons out on the driving range last night to test them out and get the numbers, specifically comparing them to my own irons. And what I found with this was a little bit confusing, to be honest. With the 8-irons, my own 8-iron had a carry distance of 148 yards, but the Caley iron had a carry of 158, which is obviously a huge difference. But then going on to the 6-iron, there really wasn't that much difference in the carry distance at all. My own 6-iron goes 164 yards for carry, and the Caley iron was going 161. So what that made me think was that maybe with these irons, the gapping and the consistency there isn't quite the same as you would maybe expect from a higher end set of irons, like my own is when the gapping is perfect. With that said, my own irons were custom fitted to me with the purpose of the custom fitting to get the gapping exact, which obviously you can't get that with the Caley irons because you're just buying them direct. There's no element of custom fitting, which obviously is a caveat with these clubs and is a reason that they're coming in at a lower price point. So that leads us nicely on to the 4th category, which is value for money. So these irons cost £449 for a full set from a pitching wedge to a 4-iron. Now, all things considered in terms of how these perform, the looks and the feel of them, at that price, and considering that you could find a full set of irons for almost 3 times that, I don't think you can say much than the value for money of these irons is pretty much exceptional. In 2023, you're going to really struggle to find anything that is better value for money, especially if you are in that mid to higher handicap range looking for some forgiving, nice, clean looking golf clubs. So that has been my review on the Caley irons. I just want to say a huge thank you to the Dukes St Andrews for letting us come here and film today. The course was in great condition considering the time of year. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to drop a like, and if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to the Golfalot YouTube channel. If you want to know a little bit more on my thoughts about the Caley irons, make sure you check out our full written review over on the Golfalot website. That's it from me. Subscribe for more.